What's up, Spleenless Wonder?
Another day getting shipped back to the U.S.
There you go. There you go. You're getting shipped over the border in a container.
Yep.
There we go. What's up, man? Just back from the Raw Nationals. You was over in Georgia for quite some time.
Yep.
That's what this podcast is going to be all about. Plus some questions, some RC news, and all that good stuff. It's good to have you back on. We had an eventful Raw Nationals.
Yep.
So in stock and mod and whatnot. So we have a bit to talk about. But before we do that, we have to drop that intro. And with that said, I will drop it.
Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right.
And let's get back to more club racing and less of this grabbing racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right.
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Leslie the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about it.
Here we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no! I like this.
Yes, indeed. Nitro is the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills, and 10 scale brings the drama. This is episode number 251 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keno White, a.k.a. Left the Great, and joining me to my virtual left is everybody's favorite 10 scale driver, and now Spleenless, Matty G, a.k.a. Glitch RC, or as his new name he has a couple of names, more than a crime, but we're now calling him the Spleenless Wonder. What's up, man? How are you feeling?
Not too bad. Tired still. I probably should have slept a little more before I left. And definitely paying the consequences of that.
Well, you didn't get sick on this trip. And you didn't die.
Exactly. I didn't get sick. That was the whole goal. Usually every time I go on a trip, it's not to get sick. As stupid as it sounds, I wear a mask on the plane just so like I can.
I know for germs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm like, just so I can prevent any little bit of like health issues, because I'm like, I've already had experience going back to the hospital again after getting sick, and it's not very fun. So
I get you. I understand that. Like a plane is just a big aluminum tube of farts. So, surrounded by fuel. So it's all types of germs on that. Cool, man. Well, you're here to talk about the Raw Nationals, but before we do that, I have to say some thank yous. I just say thank you to all of the NNRC squad around the world. Thank you guys for all the support. We greatly appreciate it. We are on the road to 5,000 subs on YouTube. We are now at 4,135 as we record this. So I need you guys to do me a favor. I need you to share this, get it out there, get people. We have 8,000 followers on Facebook. We should have 8,000 subs, no problem. It helps us out with the algorithms. Hit that like, dislike button, leave a comment, hit that sub and notification button, share it. If you are listening to this on an audio only platform, we appreciate that too. Leave a review, share, and thank you. Thank you for everybody that's rocking our gear, all that type of stuff. I'm working on getting some new gear. And if you guys want to get some gear, just hit me up. I'll send you the logos. You can get it done. All that good stuff. Thank you to the patrons of the NNRC. You guys will get early access to this, as well as the YouTube members. If you wish to support this podcast just a little bit more financially, you can. We have links for that in the written description of this podcast. Also, thank you to the awesome companies that support us. We can't do this without them as well. We have links, coupon codes, affiliate links. Some of them don't have any affiliate links or coupon codes, but we do have links in the notes. Just let them know that you heard about them on the No Name RC podcast, because it helps us out. They are Invisible Speed, High Tech RC, Sun Pedal USA, Sidewinder Fuel, Hot Race Tires, Mayako, Beach RC, Techno RC, Clinic RC, Ignite Design RC, Stacked RC, RaceCraft USA. Shout out to my boys, WRC, Danny Paz, Florida RC Championships, House of RC, and our drivers, David Ronafalk, Jared Tiba, Robert Battier, Alexander HagBerg. I guess we're going to call you our driver now. No, our driver. I now dub thee. I'm knighting you. Sir Matty G. Sir Spleenless One. You are now.
Yeah, I got shirts. I'm getting shirts made, so I probably should let the guy know that I need to put some logos on there.
I'm doing it in no English fashion. Knighting you, Sir Spleenless One.
I don't get a green card. Is that?
I can't help you. I don't have one of them myself, so I can't help you there. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. We did have the 2023 Raw Dirt Nationals held at Columbus. I almost said Columbus, Ohio. Columbus, Georgia. Hobbytown, Columbus, Georgia. We are going to talk about that in a bit. We did have we are recording this after the live show that I had with Clayton and the fabulous one, Barry Baker, who just came on there. And he did only just was on there for about 30, 45 minutes last night. So thank you to them. Thank you to everybody that tuned into that. That happened Wednesday night. We're recording on the Thursday. But what's up, man? It's good to see you doing well. You're traveling. You had a decent weekend this past weekend. We will get into that. Surprised you was out in four-wheel drive because usually that's one of your best classes.
Yeah.
But otherwise making the show in two-wheel drive and truck. So congratulations. It was a hard field to make that in because man, it's a lot of fast guys out there.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about all of that as we go on. But tell us a little bit about yourself, what you've been up to, what you're getting into, and what are your plans coming up?
Yeah. So I've been working hard on getting some motors built up for One Up Like Racing. Randy supplied a bunch of the new Reedy SP5 motors for me to build and tune and to sell on his website. So I've been building those, just waiting on some 17.5s to come in like right now so I can get those started. Then after that, just been trying to make some of the Team Glitch stuff a little more like official, just so when I sell stuff, it looks like I actually know what I'm doing. I know there's a lot of other guys who do like motor tuning services that include all that stuff. So I'm trying to, be right there like with them.
Mm-hmm.
And just getting that done. Making some side money going into the Worlds. And then after this, I'll probably get some stuff done for Randy, then work on my cars going into the Worlds because I'm going to head out to Hobby Action next week, I think.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the Worlds in RC News, and we're also going to talk about those new Reedy motors as well because this is all about 10 scale. What about you? Are we going to see you at Masters of Dirt this year?
I want to. It just depends on what I have going on for the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing what our travel budget is and stuff like that. So
because it's then that and then obviously carpet championships.
I don't think I'll be doing carpet champs. I'm like I don't run carpet anymore.
But it's the future, man.
Yeah, I don't run carpet anymore.
Yeah, I might not. I might have to take back that knighthood I just gave you because carpet is the future. But we can debate that. We can debate that because the track in Georgia was absolutely beautiful, and I really did like it, even though I wasn't there. But I just visually it was great. We saw big triples and all that type of stuff. We'll talk more about that, but I definitely don't agree with your dirt only agenda because I think carpet is the future, and I love the carpet championships. But Masters of Dirt will be great too. It's a great dirt track and. Brent and Lucas and those guys at Beach RC put on a great show. I hope you do make it to that. All right, man. So I guess we can just get right into it. We're going to start off with some RC news. And I want to know, have you signed up for Invisibles? I don't know why JQ don't get you involved in this with the 10 scale version of this. But this podcast, the main sponsor is Invisible Speed. You guys can check all of that on the invisiblespeed.net link that we have on there. That is an affiliate link. We do get a little bit of slice. I think JQ should get you involved in the 10 scale.
There definitely could be a good stock racing portion in there for a lot of the guys who don't race or who don't understand what it takes to, go that next level and stuff.
I'm pretty sure JQ will be all about that. All about that. all about stock racing. With that said, this is the Invisible Speed commercial. The 20% discount does not matter because this was a commercial from last year. And JQ hasn't changed it since then. So thank you to Invisible Speed for all their support. Thank you to Invisible Speed. We don't have any books, English books, but the online course is ongoing. And I am seriously going to talk to JQ about getting you on there for the 10 scale side of things. So I think you'd be a great addition to that and put some focus on that. But also the RC News is brought to you by High Tech RCD. High Tech has been a great supporter of the podcast. We're doing something pretty cool together here in September in Las Vegas. If you listened to the podcast last night, I'll iterate more on that on the next podcast that we do with Max. But thank you to High Tech. They're celebrating 50 years of business and in the RC industry, just period, making servers and everything that they've done. Congratulations to them and all their contributions in the last 50 years. They have been a supporter of this podcast and myself for the last 2.5 years. It's truly a privilege to be working with them. I used to use their servers back in the day, 20 years ago. And they're making a great push at getting back into RC. I know super stock racer Sammy Moran is actually sponsored by High Tech, I believe. Yep. So I heard he's going to be at the Worlds as well. They just released their RDX2 1000 charger, which I think I'll be getting her shortly. And if you want to get any information or anything about their products, go to hightechrcd.com, where to buy. And I'll just let anybody that you know that you heard about it on the NNRC. All right. So you did bring up a good point. Let's get right into it. What's up? I heard somebody talking about this. What's up with these new Reedy SP5 motors? Tell me a little bit about them.
So they've been working on them for 3 years, I think. I know it took longer than they expected. I've seen them running around like SDRC for the past couple of years and just haven't been able to really say anything. They have definitely set another bar for like stock. I think between the top motors now, it's between the R1 stuff, the Trinity stuff, the slot machine, and then the Reedy stuff is pretty much stacked up right there, like with them all. The Raymond twins have been running them. A couple of my buddies here at home have. The design is pretty similar to some of the stuff that we see now with the recent stock motors, with less like RPM and a little more like KV. Just getting a little more power out of them. You just got to gear them a little higher compared to the old Reedy style of motors, like the new stuff, pretty much like where we're gearing it like 72, like 32, just to try to get the top end like back out of it because they make so much torque. And I've been pretty impressed putting them together. I'm like, I've put together so many at this point that like I just know how to like plop them back, but they seem to be pretty good from everything that I've messed with.
Cool. Were they being used? Who was using them at this recent race?
Zach Gastelum, he TQ'd around with one of the motors I built for him in 13.5 4-wheel. The Raymond twins ran. One of them, Chase, ran it in his 13.5 4-wheel. Both of them made the 4-wheel main. And a couple other guys, my buddy Brennan Edwards, the super tall guy, I call him the Bird. He finished 4th in short course. And then he won the stadium truck. I don't know if it's a national title or not. It wasn't very clear, but he won the stadium truck classic with one of the 13.5s I built in.
Okay. All right. So it should be interesting to see what they come up with. Doesn't Mason Templeman run Reedy now? No, not
no.
Reedy.
So he ran for Reedy like last year, and R1 offered him a pretty good deal. So he's been doing that.
Okay, because I did what I'm not gonna lie, I did watch his. Oh, there we go, spreading disease all over everyone.
Yeah,
I did watch his car last year at Mod, and it wasn't the fastest. Just saying.
He just drove his ass off for sure.
He did. He did. All right. So enough about that stock talk. Pink Pinions for life. Let's talk about this Worlds coming up. It's coming. It's here. It's less than a month away, I believe. My buddy Will Venables over in England, he keeps constantly asking me questions. I heard they're going to sugar the track. I heard they're going to do this. I heard they're going to do that. So the Europeans are definitely excited. I actually have to introduce you to my buddy Miklos. He's coming over. He's made the decision to come over, and he wants some help as well. So I told him I'm going to hook you up with him. Miklos?
No,
Me?
you.
No. I'll actually be at another race that weekend in Georgia. So I'm going up there to do commentary there. I wish I would have come now, because I just realized like this is the first Worlds that we've had in 10 years since 2013. But I kind of committed to the Georgia Peach State race a few months ago as well. So I'm happy to go there. I'll be close. The weekend before I'll be in Vegas for this hydrogen GP that I'm doing, which is pretty cool. I might as well talk about it now. So basically, this came up last week. They have the hydrogen GP. It's like an educational program. So basically, what they do is in over 500 schools, they have this program where groups of high school kids get together and they build touring cars. They all get touring cars, and they build them, but they're powered by hydrogen somehow. Okay. I don't know all the details on that. So from the weekend prior to the Worlds, they're all meeting up. 30 teams from around the world, even a team from here in the Dominican Republic's going, and they're going to compete in an endurance competition. Now, these aren't RC drivers or RC racers or anything like that, but the race is taking place in the Venetian Hotel, and it's being held at the world's largest sustainable energy convention. So there will be literally thousands and thousands of people there. Yeah. And I'm going there to commentate to those people. And High Tech's come on board. So that's cool. I was talking to them. So happy to have them come on board. They're going to have a booth there, I believe, and all that type of stuff. So I'm going there. RC Racing TV from over in Europe, who does all the European races, and they're going there to do like a live stream and video. So that's how I kind of got in. And I'm actually going to connect with the Dominican team here probably when I come back from my trip next week, because I am going to RC Pro-Am next week. And just find out a little bit more about it. So I'm really excited about this because it's something different from what I'm used to. And I'm going to actually be commentating to spectators. But also these are people that know nothing about RC that will be watching. And even the students, they don't really know that much. Like they're not into RC racing. But it's interesting. I think anything like that gets RC into schools. Yeah. Great. And I hope that maybe we as an industry can get behind this somehow, some way, and support that, because I think getting these maybe these kids turn into racers at some point, or maybe the people watching turn into racers, but getting RC into high schools is a good thing. I think any means possible. So I'm doing that. Then I fly from there to Atlanta. Then I go to the Peach State Classic. You guys will be, I assume, in the thick of it. You should have had probably in 4-wheel drive mode by Thursday, I would say.
Yeah. So the first week is 4-wheel. The second week is 2-wheel.
Hold on. So when does it start? Because it's 3 days, right? It's like 3 days for 2-wheel drive, 3 days for 4-wheel.
Yeah, I texted my dad because he wanted to know. 4-wheel starts September 10th through the 12th. So,
and then 2-wheel I'm so close. 14th
through the 16th.
Okay. So it's not 2 weeks, it's just 3 days. But you do have a break in between. I wonder if they're gonna change the track.
Yeah, they are.
Okay. All right, so let's get on that. Let's talk about the Worlds. Fastly coming up soon. People are getting excited. I was listening to Jason Rona and on the RIP podcast the other day. Even he's like, Jason is kind of monotone. He doesn't really show excitement but I can hear in his voice like he's excited. First Worlds, 10-scale Worlds in America since 2013. So much has changed since that Worlds. That Worlds was outdoors on a sugar track. Tebow won, Hartson won. Tebow no longer runs 10 scale.
Yeah, Hartson no longer races.
No longer races. We barely see any racing whatsoever outdoors. Cars have changed immensely since then.
Yeah.
Carpet is king. I don't care what you say. And yeah, it's just it's hard to think that it's been 10 years since there was a Worlds in America.
Yeah. I was just barely starting to get into racing. I remember walking through Walmart, like listening in my phone and like watching it live when like Hartson was running 4-wheel. Because I'd seen him around. 8. No, he was
you was
yeah,
like
I was like 10 or 11.
Okay, how old are you now?
22.
Okay, so he's 12-ish.
So I was like, I remember sitting there like watching. I'm like, wow, like this is really close to us, and watching it all kind of like go down. And then I remember like my phone died on our way home, and I'm like, oh, well, I can't watch A3. And I got home and like I watched it like the last lap where Hartson and like I think it was Naoto like went over the triple and like broke each other's car, or pretty much broke each other's cars. And it
was good times. It was good times. We haven't seen any type of Worlds like that outdoors since, I don't think. No, well, we had China. China was outdoors, and no, and then kind of I would say that X-Ray was it was kind of indoor outdoor type of stuff. But
yeah, like the surface was definitely unique for most of the Americans to drive on.
Mm-hmm.
But an American ended up winning.
But this is the first time, right? But this is the first time we've probably seen this on this type of surface in a Worlds, a clay surface.
Yeah, for sure. This on slicks, dirt, misters, natural like groove coming in. So for all our Europeans over there that's still like, are they going to be using sauce? No sauce.
You said something about that. They're gonna I think you're going down to and somebody else is coming over to go down there with you as well. Some international driver I think is coming with you or was coming with you.
Jared.
Yeah. Oh, from Australia. Yes. Yeah. So the layout that you guys are gonna run on is the layout that they'll have, or how's that gonna work?
They're putting in a new layout for the Worlds, and then after 4-wheel they'll change some pipes and stuff like that, and then they'll make it for the 2-wheel.
But wasn't it something about letting people run on it that aren't going to be in the Worlds to put some sauce on it?
I'm not too sure if they're going to do that still anymore. I'm like, I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm like, I've heard so many things at this point, but I think it's just going to be a fresh, brand new layout, and whatever happens, happens. Like they've done a really good job of keeping the track really consistent this whole year, so I think it'll be pretty good.
Wow, who do you think who are we looking like? Obviously, I want to see you in the mix, but who do you think are the favorites going into this? Obviously, I would have to say Spencer and Fed.
Spencer, Dakota, Champlin. Champlin's been really dialed under.
He was good this weekend.
Yeah. I'm going to wild card it and put Cavallari in there. I'm like,
I would not
on
be
the up and up, especially after running tires that seem to have a little more grip.
Well, he can run whatever tires he wants now, pretty much.
So, but that seems to be helping, especially in the program.
Spec tire. He's going to be on.
Spec tire. Well, yeah, but it's spec tire, so it's level playing field for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So he can run those, and it'll be.
How about Europeans?
I'm going to go with Bruno again because
really
they're going to figure it out. Like they may have struggled at the warm-up.
Not Orlowski.
I was going to say like Orlowski, him, Bruno.
You know what? I need to ask Ongaro if he's still good. Let me message him right now.
He is.
Okay. Because we can't count on him either. Even though he runs 0-10 scale. You know what he said to me in Portugal? I'll just put whatever setup Spencer has on his car. That's how nonchalant he was about it. No worries. I'll just put this setup.
Marcus Carup.
Ooh, yes. Him too. The Hall brothers are coming.
The Hall brothers will be good. It's hard to, I don't know how a lot of these guys are going to, I think a lot of guys are coming early. They're either going to Davies track or SDRC.
How does that compare?
That is Davies track is probably the most amount of grip I've ever ran on in 10 scale.
Is that a glue track?
It's glued, but their dirt's 100% clay, so that already has a lot of grip. Then
what if they glue the track?
Then they glue it, and then it's gnarly grip.
Well, that's like Hoosier, right? Hoosier's a glue.
Yeah, it's higher bite than Hoosier.
Wow. Interesting. Interesting stuff. USA has a very big contingent. I was listening to Clayton. He said maybe 50 to 60 drivers from USA going, so that's good. I'll be definitely watching this. I think Matt Olson is doing the coverage as well.
He is.
So congratulations to him. I look forward to watching that. I don't know how I'm going to watch it. I'm going to have to try and watch it in between while I'm not working. But man, I almost wish I was going now. A lot of people have asked me if I'm going. Unfortunately, I'm not. Maybe the next one. I'm going to go to the next one, wherever that will be. Hold on, where does it go next?
I hear Australia.
Reed, I bet you it goes to that Chargers track.
I don't think it's going to Chargers.
Really? Where do you think it's going to go? No, that would be an outdoor. Don't do that. Don't do that to me. I bet. And they don't. Do they have any indoor tracks in?
They have one. It's a small carpet track, I think.
No, that can't go to Australia.
I think they're going to Australia.
Call, because they was in FEMCA for 2018. So it has to go. It could possibly go. It comes to America, right? It has to go back to Europe. Or it has to go to Farmar. Or maybe Farmar doesn't have a 10 scale track. I'm pretty sure it's not going to go to Farmar because not a lot of 10 scale. So I would assume that it goes to Europe again.
Where would it? Oh, there's a lot of tracks in Europe.
Where was it? So hold on, 2018. You need some coffee.
I do.
So hold on. So 2018,
Slovakia?
It was in China.
Or no, 2017 was China. Slovakia
was to Europe. It will go back to. It will go back to. Yeah, it probably will go to Australia. Because I was thinking that China was the last one, but I forgot about Slovakia.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm sure there'll be a lot of pissing and moaning about that, having to travel all the way to Australia when they should be excited about going out there and swimming with great white sharks.
Yeah, like I heard some rumors that it might be going there, and I'm like, kangaroos, outback,
thylacines,
outback.
Yes, great white sharks, cage diving with them. You know, everything that can kill you.
The thing from Finding like Nemo, the orchestra thingy.
Yeah, you know, bats the size of eagles.
Yeah.
Snakes that can kill you in 2 steps. Yeah.
Those things that smile. They're like they look like
koala bears.
Like teddy bears. No. I can't remember what they're called, but they're like little teddy, like they look like teddy bears and they smile. I don't know what they're called.
No idea. No idea. But yeah, I guess it would go back to FEMCA. So yeah, interesting stuff. That will be 2025. So you get to go Australia, dude. You get to go Australia. Get to see some crocodiles. Oh, there's what is it called? A wawaroo or something like?
No clue. I can't pronounce it, so I'm not going to say.
How does it spell? With a W?
No, it starts with a Q.
Oh, no idea. Maybe Australian friends can let us know what that is. Well. All right. Okay. All right. So I guess we'll go FEMCA, then Europe, then back to America. It sounds like, unless Farmar gets into 10 scale and gets going. Are you excited to go? Are you excited to go?
Yeah. To the Worlds itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I definitely am excited. I've been putting a lot of work, and there's a good amount of incentive behind it.
What are your goals? Realistic goals?
Realistic goals to finish all my runs.
Mm-hmm.
Not like the Nationals. Drive clean, and whatever happens.
Okay. That's realistic goals. So do you feel that you can make the mains?
I don't want to say it, because if I do and then jinx it, I'm going to be mad. So I'm going to do whatever I can out there to drive as well as I can. And
it's going to be a lot of competition, dude. Yeah. A lot of competition.
I'm like, the racing every race I go to, I swear it's so close. It's like a couple tenths or a second apart from like the top to the bottom. With how much grip we have, how the cars are now, and how good everybody is, it's really close.
It's going to be interesting. I'll be watching as best I can. All right, cool. Any other interesting 10 scale news that you want to talk about before we move on?
I don't really think there's much else going on that I have seen recently that is anything really worth talking about besides everything that happened at Nationals. Which
we are going to talk about, but we're going to do some questions for us for the Beach RC Bench Racing Q&A. This is brought to you by Beach RC. Hopefully we'll see you there at Masters in October. We want to thank Brent and everybody for their support, Lucas and everybody there at Beach RC. I will see all of these guys next week at the RC Pro-Am in Lake Wakamaka, North Carolina.
BeachRC.com, the racers' one-stop online hobby shop. Choose from all the popular brands and variety in stock with super fast shipping and great customer service. BeachRC.com still has the local hobby shop feel with all the benefits of the internet. BeachRC.com is the exclusive distributor for Ultimate Racing, JQ Racing, Pro Circuit Racing Tires, Nitro Lux Fuels, and Assault RC Performance products. So fill up your cart and check out at BeachRC.com today.
And thank you to Beach RC for all their continued support. If you guys can, there's an affiliate link in there. Use it. We got a little slice of that. All right, so we have a couple of questions from Instagram. First up, from your number one fan, Mike Sorchi. Dude, you are so savage to Sorchi online. So savage. So savage. He asked, how many times have the twins beat you, Team Glitch, at club racing?
So Chase Raymond is 3 to whatever, and Levi is 2 to like whatever. So Chase has beaten me 3 times, Levi's beaten me 3 times or 2 times.
Okay. Austin Schaefer, he's asking about the IFMAR versus Raw thing at the Nationals. We will cover that in the Nationals, so I will ask that. Checkered Pass 503, he says, any up-and-comers we should be watching at the moment?
In modified, Lemieux has been pretty dialed. He had a really good showing at the Worlds like warm-up. He TQ'd the race at his home track last year, the Team Associated race at Trackside. He was pretty dialed there. This weekend at the Nationals, he TQ'd around a 4-wheel. I know a lot of the top guys were like, oh, I don't know how that happened, but he drives good. Like his dad is Paul. So, there's going to be some, a little bit of talent sprinkled down, and Chase works really hard. Paul wasn't always known to work really hard and, go to that top step. So he's been dialed.
In stock? Spec mod, as we're going to call it from now on.
Spec mod. I'm biased, but the Raymond twins.
I would agree there.
They're pretty dialed for being 12 and being pretty competitive with like half of the guys up there being in their mid-20s to late 20s. It's pretty cool to see them competitive. I don't think that they'll be in stock for much longer, but they're doing what they can to, keep progressing and stuff. It's just being that young and going that far it's impressive to me. At their age, I was nowhere close to as good as like they are. So there's them.
Nate Sutherland, maybe?
Well, Nate won
4-wheel drive
this weekend in 4-wheel drive. Yeah. I don't know how much longer he plans to run in stock. I know a couple guys plan to run stock for another year again.
Okay.
So, but yeah, this Noah Ward kid, I think he's from the trackside area where Chase like races. I've been watching him at a couple events, and he gets around really good. I think he's 10 or 8. So he's, I think he was in the B.
Larry Ward the fourth. Are you talking about what was his name again?
Noah Ward.
Oh, Noah Ward. I thought you were about LW4.
No.
But it must be from the same family. Ward are from trackside up there, and you talking about Scotty's oil track?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think they're from that area.
Yeah, well, they gotta be brothers are related because all the Wards up there, I think, are related. And you have a brother named Larry.
I'm
Ward.
not too sure.
Okay.
But him and his dad and mom are constantly taking him to the track. The kid drives pretty good. Quiet kid, but he gets around good. So
I could be wrong about them being related, but they do have the same last name, Ward.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll get. I'm sure Mr. Kleinbauer will let me know. Okay, so we have some people coming up. Anybody that you saw this past weekend, young kids that were coming up, even though it wasn't the biggest turnout for a national.
Talon Henley was my biggest surprise. I'm like, he's normally super fast, but crashes. And this weekend he was super fast and didn't crash.
Yes.
That's probably the best I've ever seen him drive. Even inside Hoosier, like he seems to, kind of bobble and stuff a bit, but I understand it's your home track. You want to do really good there. But this weekend, him and his dad, Eddie, were on the tire game from the very beginning. They had it down, and their stuff looked good. He top-seeded 2-wheel, and he finished on the podium in both, I think. Mm-hmm. So kid was pretty dialed this weekend.
Yeah, his father owns Hoosier, Hoosier Hobbyplex. Good stuff. All right. Lendog RC, do chicks dig spleens?
It's definitely hard to explain why I have a big-ass scar on my stomach and then explain the backstory. So,
okay. Good stuff. All right. So moving on to some Facebook questions. We have Jeff Stackowitz. What's up? Stacks of Stacked RC also announced his leaving TLR. I can't say that I'm not surprised. I'm pretty sure that was going to happen. But he wants to know, I'm pretty sure he's joking with you. My question to Matthew Gonzalez is 2.7 degrees of deviation the fast way. What color bearing should I put in my motor?
Orange, and they need to have large red timing screws that make the deviation higher. He'll understand what I'm talking about.
All right. We do have a lot of questions about the race. Mike Fuller wants to know about the format, lifetime position. We'll address that in the recap. Hunter King wants to know about the track surface. We'll talk about that as well. Chad Buckland, he wants to know what needs to be done to revive participation in modified 10 scale. How much of a pay cut are top stock racers taking to move up to modified? This is a great question.
Yep. I'll tell you what, a lot. I was making pretty decent money racing stock, and it was awesome. Contingency for top 3, larger contingency if I won, and a TQ. So I don't make that anymore.
Right.
Because I am sitting 9th and 8th in modified truck and 2-wheel. So
do you get any contingency for that?
Yeah, for making the main at like a national kind of event, I get a little bit of contingency, but it's definitely a lot harder. And I understand why these guys are wanting to run stock still. You make decent money, but the problem is the money that you're making is not going to support you long term. And if you would like to do this for a job, the money isn't modified. But if you're an A main filler, you have to come up with ways to make money by tuning motors for stock racers.
I remember Millington told me once, Ryan Millington, he said that this is when I first found out that people make money in stock. And he was like, yeah, you know why I do stock? Because I make money at it. And he told me, like, when he won Masters one year, he got like a percentage of sales for like 3 months after that, on top of contingency and all that type of stuff.
From who?
I can't remember who. We're talking a few years ago.
Because that doesn't sound right at all. Like, I know
he said this was probably 5 years ago, and he said that he got a percentage of motor sales for like a certain amount of time after his win.
I'm like, he ran for Phantom and he ran for Parkland Trinity, and neither of those companies offer percentage of sales. So sorry, but I'm going to call bullshit on that.
Probably, but obviously he made some money because people.
Yeah, no, you do make money. Like, for example, like when I won nationals, I think I got $3,000 from winning nationals in 2 classes and a TQ combined from everything. I believe that's what I made.
Okay, good stuff. And I know. See, it took me a long time to think of stock as a separate class, and some people are just going to stay there, right? And that's fine. And it's definitely what's keeping 10 scale alive. Well, that's where the money is. Let's be honest. That's where the money is. People seem to enjoy it. I think the tinkerers really enjoy it. And I look at it, I've stopped looking at it as a class where you should move up. No, I would agree that some drivers should move up. Like obviously like you, he was a great stock driver, moved up. We see Brennan Schimmel, who's an absolutely great stock driver, having his growing pains in mod this year. I think we'll see like Kyle Go, Leverrier, and these guys go up as well eventually. Probably Leverrier probably is going to go up. I don't know. Maybe I'll do another year. We'll see. But I don't think it's mandatory for people to go up. Like if you like racing stock, that's what you want to do, and you have no ambitions of being a pro driver per se, then that's where you're going to stay.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of weird to see like people like running stock for so long. Like I was like one of them, and I was always told as a kid that once you win a bunch of races in stock, you move up to modified. Mm-hmm. And I thought Roar still had the rule implemented that if you won a stock national title, you can't run stock anymore. Honestly, I think that should be implemented again because, it makes way for the new up-and-coming guys. I'm like, I love everyone who races stock, and I raced stock for a really long time, and so did Davey and I. So this rule applies to us as well, because Davey won the title in short course a couple of years prior, and then ran stock again in 2 and 4 to try to win the title again, and that should have made Davey step up to modified. Mm-hmm. But what sucks is that like I see some of these kids like up and coming that are like in the B mains or at the local track. They're like, oh, like I really want to run stock, like and go up to mod, but I don't see any of these other guys going up to mod. Right. This, I get what you mean. These guys are setting the example for everybody else to run mod. I'm like, I really wish modified was bigger.
Maybe that rule has to be implemented again to force guys up. So like Doug would have to go up and run. Because he's won it last year as well. Yeah,
he won 4-0 last year. He won truck this year at the Carpet Nats, and then he won 2-0 like this year.
Right. So maybe. But as for regular people, if that's the class you want to stay at, you're going to stay at. I think mod's cheaper. Come on. If all the stuff people put in their stock cars, you can just throw a mod mode in there.
When I won stock, I ran steel drivetrain, stock bearings, like I ran all the associated factory team parts that are like the stiffer plastics and stuff like that, and then I ran the 1-up titanium and aluminum screws. But you don't need lockouts, you don't need aluminum.
It's no fun if you don't use all that stuff.
It is no fun, but I did it to prove a point that you don't need any of that shit.
Right. I could believe that too, but I think. I don't know. I would probably run stock myself, to be honest.
Honestly,
I suck. I should run stock.
It's fun. I really wish Roar implemented a 21.5 class.
Right. That would be good.
Not as like a
beginner's class.
Not as like a national title, but just as like an exhibition class for guys who don't want to go in as like an entry level kind of like stock class to get into. And Roar did the handout motor. Yeah. Roar did the handout motor. No sponsors whatsoever. So, so people who are like wanting to go to a nationals but don't want to race stock buggy because everyone in there is getting a paycheck and all that stuff. It takes the intimidation out. And it takes the intimidation out of it.
I would be down for that.
But then there's the argument that most people who are going to nationals are going there to win. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of all
right. Rob Starjo wants to ask, Matty G, how many compounds did you use?
I tried silver, aqua, and blue, and we ended up on blues.
Okay. All right. So my buddy, RC Vitals, he has quite a few questions.
Yep.
He wants to know, also check out RC Vitals Race Until I Die. He's got some cool swag, my boy, and his YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. Go there, hit that like button. When will the 1-up 13mm springs come out?
I've been running those since I got out of the hospital. They've been really good. Hopefully, Randy says before the Worlds, Personally, I'm hoping after the Worlds, but they should be out here soon.
He also wants to know, are you going to switch to Exalt motors?
I'm probably going to continue doing what I'm doing right now, which is running for nobody.
Okay. He asked, what was the biggest learning curve stepping up from stock to mod?
Being top dog to little dog. So you go from bulldog to a chihuahua real quick.
Okay, that's a good example.
Yeah.
What tires did he end up on at the Nationals?
I ran blue ellipsis sanded down with gray Dirt Tech foams front and rear. We put on a new set every day.
Okay. What LiPo battery are you using?
ProTech 4800.
And what lessons have you learned running your own RC brand?
You can't make everybody happy. What else? Your opinion means shit to other people. And what else? It's probably not wise to tell people how much better you are at your work rather than just to show it.
I would agree there. That's actually a very good point. Don't talk about it, be about it.
Yeah.
What is his prep like for the Worlds? He has a lot of questions.
Yeah. My prep like for the Worlds, I've been going to Hobby Action as much as I can afford to.
Mm-hmm.
And I have also been trying to run the tires locally at home. It's a little hard too with our glued track. We have to sauce them to get them to feel similar to Hobby Action. But yeah, it's just been trying to get as many runs on the tires and learn as much as we can.
Okay. What is his thoughts on big companies buying up smaller companies, such as what we see with Horizon?
I don't know why Horizon would need Trinity. Doesn't make much sense. To me, it feels like Losi's trying to get, or TLR, sorry, not Losi, is trying to get back to the glory days of Kinwald with getting TLR, Proline, and Trinity all back in the same roof to kind of get everything going and make it seem like the old school, like their associated, like Reedy, like Yokomo had, like much more. So they're trying to get their set electronics brand.
I never even thought of that
because it's a legacy item for Horizon or for TLR. I think the Trinity name, all that stuff.
Speaking of Kinwald, he asked, I don't know if you knew him, but did you know Kinwald?
Yeah.
Okay, so he asked, how did you meet Kinwald and become friends with him?
My buddy Jim Hughes, Jim and Brian were super close back then, and then they reconnected. So Brian would come down and hang out with Jim, and I would be sitting right next to Jim hanging out with Brian. Wealth of knowledge, super nice guy, knew a lot. It's kind of a bummer how the RC industry kind of treated him after he got sick. But the dude was probably one of the biggest influences on me till now. I still rock the drips on my paint scheme. I love cutting and drummelling stuff even when I probably shouldn't be. So, yeah.
All right, because he goes on to a few more questions about Kinwald. He goes, knowing Kinwald, what do you think he would think of today's RC racing state now?
I'm not too sure. Only Brian would have the answer to that one. I know by the end of it, he was like, I don't understand why all you guys run stock for so long.
I'm sure he would still be upset about that.
Yeah. He used to give me shit all the time. So, but
he also asked, what are your thoughts on RC mechanics?
Oh, he just went on mute.
I muted myself by mistake. He wants to know, what are your thoughts on having an RC mechanic? Are you going to have one at the Worlds? And is it going to be your dad?
My dad is going to be my mechanic at the Worlds. Him and he hasn't really gone to many races ever since I got out of the house. So this will be fun, interesting to see how it is. RC mechanics, I think if you're running stock, you don't need one. But that's just how I feel. It's whatever. In stock racing, it is not as there still is pressure, but I believe getting help is nice. I never really had a lot of help when I ran stock. I'm I mean, like Joe Pillars would help out like once in a while, like at nationals and stuff like that. But for the most part, it was all me doing most of the work. So honestly, I think if you can manage your time and everything else, you can do it on your own. But if you aren't very good at wrenching, there's many sources of people at your local track, I'm sure, that can help you figure it out.
Okay. And he has one more question. It's from my boy RC Vitals. What did Kinwald teach you about testing, practicing, racing, and inventing new parts?
Try everything. Pretty much everything and anything that you can try. I'm like, even the most ass backwards stuff can work. Like we ran sway bars on our 2 wheels for the longest time. Like when Brian would come down, like the thinnest amount of piano wire with a soft rear spring to kind of get like an in-between feel. It would give the car more support in the corner, so it would have a little more grip. So just pretty much try everything and anything that you can to kind of get, the feel that you want. And you're usually, most of the time, the crackhead ideas end up turning into really good ideas.
Yeah, I think we have to have a Kinwald edition podcast. Honestly, I only know him from the magazines. I don't know anything really about him. I've heard Rona talk about him. Obviously, Barry was the one who brought it up. So I think it would be cool to maybe get a few people on her. Maybe we have to get you on there because you're a younger guy that got to know him. And we can just talk about him, and we can, tell the world about him. And I want to learn about him myself, right?
Yeah.
So maybe we have to arrange that and get it done. And of course, Captain Kyosho, leader of the Kyosho fan club himself, Mike Sorchi, has one more question for you. He says, if you beat the national SC champion at his home track, are you faster than the national champion?
He beat Mason in modified 4-wheel straight up at Hot Rod. And I don't think I've heard the end of it since. So he did beat Sammy, but Sammy broke. Mason was on the track and just kept crashing. And yeah. So Mike won.
He's just upset because Kyosho doesn't have any 10 scale program now. That's why that's
what I told him. I'm like,
I know, I saw that. I just said, this guy's so savage. Oh my gosh. Mike Sorchi, Kyosho's #1 fan. Captain
number 1 driver. He's the top driver
in his brain, but
no. He's the top driver.
He's better than Lutz.
He's the guy.
Okay.
Sorchi, Lutz, and Figueroa. Sorchi is right here.
The same guy who pitted with all those guys, but was scared to ask Zhao for a body.
Exactly, but Sorchi, it's because he's too good.
I had to bring it all the way from Portugal. There we go. Sorchi is funny. Sorchi is funny. Hot rods, outdoor 10 scale at Hot Rod sounds fun.
We ran slicks, so.
Do you still go up there much at all?
My first time being there was this year.
Okay, sweet.
That's Templeman's home track.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that Jimmy had his. That's cool. I Tuesday night nationals, man. One of the most fun times I've had in RC was going there watching that. Barry was there. My buddy Mike Hill was there. He beat up all those guys in California knee buggy too. First time ever. All right. Thank you for the questions, everybody. Thank you for answering them. If you guys, when we do have you on, we will have questions for you. So get all your 10 scale questions ready. Obviously, we're going to have you on after the Worlds here. I'm pretty sure about that. So that should be great. With that said, we're going to move on to the main part of this podcast, which is the 2023 Raw Dirt Nationals recap. That is actually brought to you by Techno RC and Sidewinder. Even though they don't have any 10 scale stuff. Well, yeah, Techno has 10 scale stuff. They have a 10 scale 4-wheel drive car. But thank you to Techno RC and Sidewinder for the continued support. And we're going to get ready to get into the nitty gritty here.
Techno RC. Techno RC is a championship-winning manufacturer of high-performance 8-scale, 10-scale, nitro, and electric RC buggies and trucks. With a worldwide dealer network, USA and Europe-based headquarters, comprehensive warranty program, and global race support, Techno RC is excellence in RC. View the full lineup of Techno RC race-proven vehicles by visiting www.technorc.com.
Thank you to Techno RC for their continued support. Also, I'd like to say thank you to Sidewinder Fuel. Morgan Fuel has been collaborating with many of the world's top drivers for over 40 years, and this has enabled them to test their fuels in many of the most challenging situations and take the development of competition fuels to the next level. The result is the Sidewinder blend. Obviously, Greg Degani runs this exclusively. The market's most powerful racing fuel. The fuel is track tested and proven by national champions and world champions that have included Ryan Cavallari, Ryan Mayfield, Greg Degani, Mark Pavidis, and many more. Their top driver right now is the infamous Little Bump. These drivers did appreciate the Sidewinder is blended perfectly for the high performance needs of competitive racing. Don't let victory slip you through your fingers. Purchase Sidewinder today. And I believe you can purchase it through various hobby shops. I know Revelation has it. I believe Amen has it, and all that good stuff. And you know what? Before we get into this, I am going to get on your ass because David Bada was at the Nationals running Nitro. We see Kyle Go is running Nitro. Doug Leverrier is running Nitro. He was at the Nationals running Nitro. Brandon Schimmel is running Nitro.
So
when are you going to do it for Mexico and run Nitro?
Lefty, all of these guys have money.
That helps.
That helps. Have enough to live in a container. I have enough to eat, and I have enough to travel and race 10 scale.
You know what?
If I throw 8 scale into that, I will be living in this container.
Well, I thought you did anyway, but we're gonna get a petition going because we want to get you running Nitro. We gotta get over to Randy and say, hey, you know what, man? It's time for this guy to start running Nitro. Because I see all these other guys are running. You are just, in your container there doing stock things. But I hope you do. I really would like to see you run some Nitro. Maybe you can run a Kyosho with Swartzy. Swartzy, if you're listening to this audio, he just gave a look of never. All right, so what's up? So this was the 2023 Raw Dirt Nationals. The 10 scale nationals are now split up into carpet and dirt. I'm going to ask your opinion on that because I think we should just go back to one nationals. You already said that you are a dirt fan of 10 scale racing. I think it's a class of racing that's dying a slow death. I know you don't want to hear that, but I believe it is
for sure.
And it's not because it's just very unsustainable as a business model. We see OCRC is closed on. We've seen a couple other dirt tracks closed on. And I definitely think that Astro and Carpet will take over with semi-permanent tracks in the future. But as for now, we had the Dirt Nationals at a beautiful, beautiful track here in Columbus. I heard Clayton say that it's actually inside of another sporting goods building or something like that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Archery center. So it's a hobby town that has an archery center. So if you pit in the VIP pits, you pit in the archery range. So that was pretty cool.
Ooh. So they have a big archery shop, I take it, or just multiple ranges?
They have a lot more archery selection than they do RC parts.
Well, archery is a lot bigger than RC.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I 100% understand why they have archery stuff because it's probably making them more of their money.
So I had my buddy Gary Stute, who's also doing a TZO team challenge in September. He used to be a professional archer.
Yeah.
And he was telling me, it's bigger than RC. Everything's bigger than RC.
Yeah, everything's bigger than RC.
Rubik's Cube competition, yo-yo competitions, rolling cheese, non-hills, all bigger than RC. All bigger than RC. So that's great. So it's a huge facility. Did you get a lot of foot traffic? Was there people around?
Yeah, there was a good amount of people going through the archery stuff. Not a lot of people looking at the RC car stuff, which kind of is a bummer.
Because it's not exciting. That's why you need to have somebody in there pumping it up. You should have had, should have had Lance McDonald there. Everybody, Lance McDonald, Scotty Ernst, because you can hear them for days.
Well, Mike, the announcer, Mike Braun, does a really good job. He does a lot of our local
for RC people.
Yeah, that's what he does for RC people.
Yeah, but we need to we need to make it exciting for everybody.
Yeah.
At least you don't be quiet like they were in the Euros. So over in the Euros, did you hear that? That they wanted complete silence.
I saw something that Barack can't race or Barack can't race the.
No, Barkan can't race the German nationals because he hasn't done any. Because he hasn't done any like regional races.
I thought it was because of the stuff that happened at the Euros.
No. That was e-buggy, but he did a round of the Italian nationals. So I think he's gonna be representing Italy next year. But at the Euros, her recently up in Netherlands, and JQ had told me this prior to that. No announcing, no clapping, no cheering, no nothing. Complete and dead utter silence.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. Like, that's literally killing the hobby. Like, how are people supposed to realize what's going on?
Right.
So you didn't know if you were in first, last, or second, or third, or fifth? There's just dead silent?
Yeah, sounded like that.
Was it because there's been other clapping and booing and all that stuff?
No, they consider it coaching.
Clapping?
Clapping, cheering, all that type of stuff. Even the announcer announcing the race, apparently.
That's kind of...
Oh, the guy who was involved in this is like ancient. He's like 85.
Yeah.
Do you live next to a school? Because it sounds like it's a...
Can you hear all the kids?
I can hear them. Hear them. So anyway, back to this. I've heard very good things about this track. I know Sean Harding is the guy who builds all of this. I saw him at Wicked Weekend. He was not able to participate in Wicked Weekend because he was going on to build the track. I have to say, it was beautiful. Like, I have not seen a track with so much elevation, big jumps.
Yep.
Love the big jumps, all that type of stuff. Tell us a little bit about your first impressions of the track and what you thought about it.
The layout was really good for qualifying. Mm-hmm. And during practice, it wasn't too bad. But when racing came, it was really tight. Like, especially coming up that uphill and stuff like that. Like, there were so many lines that you could have taken coming up there. So there was a lot of taken out there.
You mean where they jumped up?
Yeah.
Okay.
So everyone's going so fast, like, through there, that it was just really hard to kind of race on certain parts of the layout. Sean did an awesome job with the layout, though. The big ass like triple made me question why I am running modified, because it was really hard to clear.
Spencer was doing it?
Yeah. No, so at the first day, no one was doing it. It was really hard. So we were all doing it. I don't know why these kids are yelling so loud. But the triple, when you would come down, the car would kind of catch, because we all run soft power here at home because there's no big jumps like that. You don't need any of that power. So we put in turbo and boost and all that stuff to clear it. And then after that, we figured it out. It was fine. But at the beginning, it was kind of a mess trying to figure out how to clear that.
Well, I'm glad they had a big jump like that.
No, I'm glad that there was a separation, because stock was not as fast as mod for one.
Yeah, because they couldn't do it. They had to double single.
It was a big difference. I know Paul went in the 40+ class, and Michael, the guy who won, Michael was doing it and Paul wasn't. And but the guy jumped over Paul in like the last 2 laps to take the win in the 40+ class.
We're gonna put it up here on the screen here so people can see it. So this is A2 to start her. This is the downhill triple we're talking about. That is a big jump in 10 scale. Like, it's huge.
Yeah.
Pipe was a little bit higher than usual. It looks like 10 scale, 8 scale pipe. Was that a problem?
The Midwest uses this pipe a lot. It catches your car a lot more. And I believe if you can drive on pipe like this, you can probably be a little faster when the pipe's smaller, because you could drive a little closer. Because if you can drive close on this pipe and your car not grab, it's pretty good.
Well, that's what we saw what happened in A1 with Brock, right? He grabbed that.
Because like OCRC used this pipe for like a while. So
we did have a question about traction. What about that? I know I talked to you a little bit about that. You said that was a little bit of a struggle bus for traction.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
The first day, I'm like, I had never been here, and talking to a lot of the locals, I didn't hear a lot of positive things about the traction. Mm-hmm. They were just saying that it fluctuates a lot. So after hearing that, I was a little stressed. I brought silver smoothies, which is what we normally run on all of our California tracks. We did not end up running those. We ended up running blue J Concepts ellipses, like sanded down. Luckily, J Concepts brought a whole selection of tires for us to use. So thank you to Paul and Jason, all those guys. But yeah, we were able to figure out the tire game pretty quick. I think Brock was the first one to figure out to run blues on the first day of practice. So he ran those and looked dialed. And then after that, the traction kept coming up and up. One of the first days they were power washing the track. I'm not too sure about what that
really
does. But yeah, Sean was out there power washing the track. Anytime he did it, it got better. So when we first got there, the dirt looked a little dry. It was their first
literally
time.
power washing the track.
Yeah, power washing the track. Someone has a video. I'll have to find
So
it.
it didn't like break up the track or anything when he did that?
No. The dirt's really like
compact.
sticky. Yeah. So the track stayed really smooth all weekend. Wasn't bumpy or anything like that. It was just a matter of figuring out like the tire game, which was the hardest part. Like I remember seeing some guys doing wheelies and other guys doing donuts. Pretty much during qualifying, the traction was really good for 3 minutes and the last 2 would fall off. I felt like the last day of qualifying, it wasn't like that. And on main day, the traction stayed the same the whole main or for every 5-minute run. It just took a while for the track to progress and get there.
We're going to get into more of qualifying there, but an interesting story. This was brought to me by, we just mentioned his name, Paul Lemieux and Chase Lemieux, but they reached out to us here at the No Name RC podcast as somewhat of a sponsor of this podcast. An interesting story about this that they told me was that they had a new cutting edge tire traction compound called Grip Doctor, which is made by Gravity RC. It made its debut. And at the event, racers were apparently swarming Paul Lemieux to be able to get their hands on this product.
I think there was a lot of you seen that meme with Dave Chappelle, like, you guys got any of that?
Yes,
like Grip
yes.
Doctor? That was definitely everyone at the Nationals. You got any of that Grip Doctor?
So yeah, apparently there was only a limited supply of it during the event. So teams and racers had to begin rationing their quantities of it. Like I heard that you couldn't run it on stadium truck because it used too much.
Yeah, there was one of the guys on the Associated used it on their stadium truck and definitely got an earful about it.
Really?
Because half the bottle was being used on his stadium truck.
That's crazy. I heard that the benefits of the racers saw their speeds increased by as much as 0.2 of a second. And apparently Grip Doctor is odorless and works extremely well for most classes and conditions. This may be, apparently, I've been told this may be the most versatile tire additive ever to become available. And it's available for purchase now directly from teamgravityrc.com. Ask your local hobby shop about it. If you do order it, tell them you heard about it on the No Name RC podcast. So made by Paul Lemieux. His son was, Paul Lemieux was there. I'm going to have him on the podcast here shortly because I want to know his story. His son Chase was was doing very well there as well. But if you're saying that this was the stuff to be on, then it's pretty amazing. They've stumbled onto something here then.
It definitely looked like the stuff to be on for sure. Like it seemed like from what running the stuff that I ran compared to what everybody else like was running, the amount of fall off was way different.
Now, is it truly odorless and has no smell?
Yeah, it doesn't smell like anything. Probably tastes good, so there's all that.
I hope nobody tasted it. I really do. I really do. All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty of her. Let's get into qualifying. So qualifying, let me just get out of her. Qualifying was pretty interesting. So we saw, let me bring it up here. In modified two-wheel drive, we saw Brock Champlin, who was super dominant. He went 0.052. So he was on point. Like Brock was out there. So that tells me that Schumacher has been really working really hard on their dirt program for their cars as well. So he was in first. He TQ'd, followed by Dakota Fend, Spencer Rifkin, Ty Tessman, doing it for X-Ray in two-wheel drive, Taylor Sontag, Tom Rinderneck in 6th, Dustin Evans 7th, Ryan Cavalier 8th, Chase Lemieux 9th, and you there in 10th. You had a 25 DNF, dude. What happened there?
Yeah. So my cars the first round decided all to break. It was really fun. There was definitely a lot of just a couple radio taps and a lot of F-bombs. But after the first round of qualifying, we figured it out.
Dude, you got it in by the skin of your chinny chin chin. You had an 8, a 6, and a 10. Yeah. And then Dominic Paxioni was behind you in 11th. Lee Satzer, Brandon Simro, and Aiden won. I think Aiden was the biggest surprise out of all of this. Did not make one A main. No, did not make one A main. I heard it was the tires. I heard Proline was not very good there.
Well, Tater was in the mains. So
I forgot that he runs Proline. I did.
Yeah. Tater was in the main. So
Yep. Could be something. Tater's been doing really well lately.
Tater's been dialed.
He has been very dialed. So let's look at 4-wheel drive real quick. Hold on, just bringing up my notes. 4-wheel drive mod was Rivkin. He was on fire. He had a 3, 5, and 2 zeros. Brock Champlin, not too far behind him, with a 0, 4, 12, and a 2. Tater Sontag. Now, I think this is so. I think these are now how they didn't start, because I know they went IFMAR style. So I think Tater was one down below. He started in 4th in this sense, because now all the mains are switched into raw style, raw qualifying now. So Tater really was supposed to start 3rd, but started 4th.
Yeah.
And then we saw Chase Lemieux, who actually TQ'd round 2 of this race. Let's just stop and talk about this young man, because he's very impressive. How old is he?
16, 17.
All right. As Barry says, I knew Chase when he was in his dad's sack. That's what he said on our live one time. This kid seems to be turning it up here in 8. He was the top X-ray driver.
He was the top X-ray driver. He was the top X-ray driver at the Worlds warm-up.
Exactly.
This kid's the real deal. No joke.
You know what? You know what I'm going to say. He needs to run some nitro.
Like he does.
He seems to be very good, and I don't know much about him, but he seems, when you go out to the Dirt National and TQ Iran, and you are the top extra driver at the end of the day, you have some talent. I mean, it's not hard to his dad was very talented as well. We see old man Dustin Evans, who came in 5th, Dakota Fence 6th, which I'm shocked at, because I thought that 4 drive would be bad, just as be his class.
Something sounded wrong with his 4-wheel. Like when he would go out there, something sounded like it was about to fall apart.
I also heard that he's using a different radio. We saw that at Wicked Weekend too. Maybe getting adjusted to that. Look, of course, look, I'm going to say it. He's out there using a Sanwa M17. We saw it at Wicked Weekend. I know he's supposed to use the Spectrum stuff, so he's switching over to that. We have long said that probably that the Spectrum is one of the reasons why he's not doing as well. But I think he has to get used to this radio maybe now. So I'm sorry. I saw it at Wicked Weekend. I'm not going to say that I didn't see it. I saw it. So I'm just saying what we all saw. Tom Rendenconnect. Tom had a solid, making both mains. I think that's solid for him. Ty Testman, Ryan Cavallari, and Lee Setzer made it in 4-wheel drive. Davey Bada beat you. You came in 12th. You had a DNF in the round. Then you had a 9, 8, and an 8. So you actually had some better qualifying rounds in your 4-wheel drive, but obviously it wasn't enough to get you into the main. And Brendan Schimmel probably going through the same growing pains as you did last year, moving up to mod, not making any finals here at all. It doesn't look like, but the B-Man was stacked, super stacked. Let's look at 17.5 2-wheel drive buggy. Kyle Go. I like Kyle. Super fast. He went 2.040. And Doug Laverdier, he had a 0.600 and a 10. Sorry. Talon Henley was impressive, like you said. He was in 3rd. Nate Sutherland 4th. Zach Gastelum. He's from Colorado, right?
He's from Colorado, but he lives in Indiana now.
Okay. He was in 5th. Chase Raymond, one of the dyad, one of the twins. Mason Templeman, Tyler Hooks, and Tyler Patinod. And Jeff Stacks, they're in 10th. And Florida's Kai Goff was just out. This was a big contention because a lot of people said that he should have been in the main. But,
so according to the points, he was not in the main.
Now, this is under Roar.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm looking at. And I had a couple of RDs look at this. And it was a little bit confusing. But he actually did not miss any of the mains.
No, yeah.
So he was supposed to be in the B main. Kai Goff, great driver, stock driver down there in Florida. And probably missing out on this was him, Levi Raymond, and then we have that kid Noah Ward you was talking about as well. So he's in the B main. Let's look at four-wheel drive. So it was Nate Sutherland who actually won this in the end. Zach Gastelum, Mason Temple, Talon Henley, Doug Laverdier, Tyler Patinot, Tyler Hooks, Chase Raymond, Kyle Go. I find it that why did these two guys who Losi has probably one of the best forward drives out there, but they seem to struggle a little bit. We saw Fenn struggle.
Yeah, I don't struggle. It seems like Associated has honestly really figured out their four-wheel ever since this .2 came out, and I think Losi's had pretty much the same car since it came out.
Mm.
And what's that saying in Jurassic Park with like the evolution? Life finds a way.
Mm. So you're trying to say that they need to start building a new four-wheel drive.
What I'm saying is evolution finds a way.
There we go. I would agree with that. And then tiling off was Levi Raymond. So both twins made it this time. And Kai Goff once again in 11th, right there on the cusp of making it. And then you also made modified stadium trucks. So we had Fenn, Tessman, Evans, Rivkin, Chase Lemieux, Cavallari, Gonzalez, Tater, Lee, and Brock. With that Schumacher.
Brock finished one run.
Really?
So everyone else finished all their runs. Brock finished one run and made.
Really?
Yeah.
He did too. I'm looking at it. He DNF'd. What? Well, okay. Oh my, you know what? As a driver, I would be embarrassed about that. He had a 9, a 16, a 18, and a 7. Wow. So that 9.
Feel embarrassed, or everyone who finished behind him should feel embarrassed?
Everybody finished behind him should be embarrassed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because I remember looking at the points after the race. I'm like, oh, I want to see where I qualify. And I look at the 10th spot. And I expected it to be Fenster or Horn, and it's Brock.
And that Schumacher truck. See, they don't really race that over in the UK.
No, they kept breaking.
Ooh, that's not good. Not good at all. Luckily, there's no Worlds for that, so you don't have to worry about that coming up. And you don't run much truck either, but you made it.
The first time I ran it was first time seating run.
Okay. And then I guess we'll look at 13.5 stadium truck. My buddy Patrick Rossiter, he made it. Tom Sherman. So Sherman and Sherman, Owen Simon. So these are a lot of the local guys there that made it, I would say. I don't know who Brendan Edwards is. But
that's the dumb bird.
Guy. Okay. And then I guess everybody decided to run 13.5. Why don't I have any scoring for 13.5 scoring? What's going on here? No scoring whatsoever for 13.5. Everybody decided to run short course.
Well, because short course was the title class. Truck was an exhibition class.
Oh, okay. I did not understand that when you said that. So we had Doug Laverdier, Mason Templeman, Nate Sutherland. Mason ended up winning. Yes. Did he win? He won short course, right?
Yeah.
Right. Nate Sutherland, Brendan Edwards, Justin Sherman, Tom Sherman, father and son racing against each other. Arthur Stathalopoulos. I met him at Wicked Weekend. Ryan Govette, Teddy Davis, and Richard Lewis. Sean Alfonso. So they actually canceled mod short course because there were no entries. So, which I agree with. Very low entries for this race. Very low entries. I think what we're seeing here is I think we need to go back to one nationals. I think it needs to be in April because everybody wants to be outside at this time. And I know you're not going to like what I have to say, but carpet is just taking over, man. And I think they should just rotate it. They should have one nationals on carpet next year, then in the following year on dirt until dirt's done.
Yeah. It seems like sadly dirt, like these guys want instant grip. I want instant grip. So it just seems like slowly the dirt thing is starting to phase out, which is a bummer. I don't mind carpet. I just don't really have a need to go and run carpet. So,
well, the issue with the dirt thing is too, a lot of tire prep. Sanding onto those treads.
Well, the glue takes away all the tire prep.
Okay. And I think the big issue is sustainability, right? Having a dirt track or clay track as a business model is extremely hard to make track changes because Americans love to have a lot of track changes. But when you think of the carpet stuff, we're looking at how they do carpet astro, how they do it in the UK and Europe. It's a lot of temporary, semi-permanent tracks. Basically, people renting out school halls, church halls, putting up a track in a night, different layout every time. And people, let's be honest, like for new people, driving on carpet and astro is just easier.
Yeah.
So it's a no-brainer.
It's hard to come to a dirt track, and it's intimidating to watch these guys rip wheelies, traction roll, and then you go out there and you're just doing donuts the whole time.
Okay. So. All right. Enough about that. I still think we need to go back to one nationals. I think it's gonna, because one is gonna hurt, right? The carpet nationals was popular and the dirt nationals wasn't as popular. Who was your surprises in qualifying then? Who surprised you in mod qualifying? And who was your biggest winner? Who was your biggest loser in qualifying?
The surprises that I really had in qualifying, no one really surprised me. Like, I knew Chase was really fast in 4-wheel, so I knew he was going to be up there. And then there's no one that really was like in modified, at least. Like,
I think the biggest surprise was Aiden not making any of these mains.
Yeah, like that. Definitely not making the mains for Aiden was not good for him, I thought.
No, because he is a pro driver, right?
And he got black flagged in stadium truck.
I saw that because his car was broken and he was just going crazy. He was having fun, but you can't be doing that while other people out there racing as well. So, not a good weekend for Aiden Horn. Not a good weekend for him. I hope he can get it together for the Worlds coming up. Obviously,
he should be fine for the Worlds. I think
so. But it's gonna be so hard, so hard. Maybe my biggest surprise is not seeing Fend as dominant as we expected.
I don't know what's been kind of going on. He was really dominant the last 2 years. And then, like this year, at least coming into the Worlds, he hasn't been as dominant as I've seen him recently.
Spencer looked good. Brock looked good. Tater looked good. No Mayfield, but I don't think we're going to see Mayfield doing much dirt racing, period. He seems to like carpet and not as much 10 scale, period, anyway. Busy schedule. He'll be at the Worlds, I'm sure, but he has a family, all that type of stuff. So I think we're seeing Mayfield go the way of kind of what Tebow has gone. 8 scale, maybe do some carpet racing now and then because he told me he really enjoys carpet racing. So I understand that. 100%. All right, so we move on to the mains. Going into this, let's bring those up. I really wish, I know we need to, if one rule we can update, I would like to see us figure out how we can get bump ups. I really would like to see maybe people that don't make the B main. I think we can go to maybe a few more positions. I mean, we see 12, I think, is at the Worlds. 12 at an 8 scale Worlds. No, at an 8 scale, it's 12.
Oh, it's 10 at. The problem is these tracks are so small.
Right. But maybe we have to. Where did I see where they did they had bump ups? But they had like a one race for the bump ups. Ooh, where was it that I watched the other day? I would like to see another chance for people to try and bump up into the main. Maybe just have a B main bump.
Maybe just like an LCQ. I wouldn't mind seeing that, like a last chance like qualifier.
Well, LCQs are always exciting, right?
Yeah.
I would like to see that too, because I think maybe just 9 go through and 1 goes through.
If it was like a heads up kind of, like how Beach RC used to do the Super Bowl stuff, like where you do like a lap, and if you're last, like you get knocked out. Like so every lap someone has to pull off.
Maybe. Or maybe we just take 8 through, guaranteed through. And then from there on, you have to, that would mean you would have had to be in the LCQ.
Yeah.
But I think that gives people one last chance, right? Have an LCQ. And then we go to your B mains. Then you can have your B mains and all that type of stuff. I think it's time we saw something like that, because we've had these rules for a long time. I would like to see that. If we can't get maybe 1 or 2 more entries, maybe 1 or 2 more participants in the A main, I would like to see, because we'll just make it exciting, right? And we'll give people one more shot to make it, and we'll make it for a great mad dash. Every LCQ that I've watched in 8 scale is great. So I hope that we can do something like that, because then it's like, all right, then we see people like what happened in the B main with Aiden.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Just out there sending it, not really worried about it, because really he runs to be in the A main like everybody, but he should have probably been in the A main.
Yeah.
So that would be good to see. Maybe we can see some advancement in those type of rules as we go forward in 10 scale racing. But let's go to race results. So we'll go through mod real quick, and then we'll touch on we're just going to do mod 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive. So we saw Fend in 2-wheel drive. So A2 of 2-wheel drive. Let's bring that up, because this is where a big kerfuffle had. We slid it on. I actually have it here. I'm going to show it on this. I can't stop it, but let's have a look at.
Getting hung up in the S's there. That looks like it was Brock getting hung up in the S's. Drag race down the back straight, and we got Dakota and Spencer drag racing down the back straight. Spencer looking for a place to get by as they come through the front triple. Watching the triple, guys. You got 1 at the start of the triple, right at the beginning.
All right, so for those of you that are listening to this on audio, that was the incident between Rifkin and Fend. Yeah. We saw Brock. Prior to that, he hit that pipe, and that took him out of contention. He started on pole. Now, when I first saw this, I thought it was I still think that no call was the best call. Barry kind of went in deep last night, and he said, you can see where Rifkin's tires are pointed left or whatever, and I understand that. I still think that Dakota got very loose out of there, and then Rifkin shot the gap. He shot the gap, and he went for it.
If you hauled too much ass, you definitely got loose, because it unsettled the car, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. From what I saw in the corner of my eye, Dakota got loose. Spencer had nowhere to go, and Spencer just pinned it.
Yeah, we can all talk about it afterwards. Yeah. I still think the right call was made. I heard there was some kerfuffle. They kind of were arguing with each other after. How bad was that?
It wasn't too bad.
Okay.
Honestly, I didn't really hear much, but.
Well, these two have gotten together for the last few years, right? We are talking about AE Superstar versus TLR Superstar. So, and a long time rivalry here. In the end, it didn't really affect it. Fenn ended up winning it. He actually finished 9th in this, and then he went 1 and he won A2 and A3. We saw Spencer Rifkin, he came second and second. We saw at some point, I think in A3, where they had a good battle going on.
Yeah, so they had a good battle, and then Spencer shorted the triple.
He shorted the triple, caught him back up, Brock got out of the way for them, which I was shocked that he did that. I was actually shocked that he did that because I know him and Rivkin have had some kerfuffle as well. But he knew that he wasn't going to beat or get first, so he let them battle out. Then we saw, I think Rivkin made another mistake, not sure, I can't remember where, and that allowed Fenn to get by. I like when races go on to A3s, so I was happy about that. And congratulations to good old Fenn. I think he won this last year as well, right?
Yep,
so
he won 2-0 and Spencer won 4-0, so they defended their titles.
Right. And we saw Brock come in third. Cavallari, I just noticed that, had a fourth, so I think that's a good result for Cavallari. Positive result for him. Dustin Evans in fifth, Tessman sixth, Chase Lemieux in seventh, Rennenek, Matty G, and then after a great start and great, finish qualifying fifth, like Taylor just kind of blew out. He got 2 stop and goes too in one race.
Yeah,
did he just have a breakdown?
He got me in stadium truck, and then he just kept going for it.
He blew out. He blew out mentally then as well. All right. So two-wheel drive was probably the most interesting one for us in mod. And then let's look at mod four-wheel drive, where we saw Rivkin go 1-1, and then obviously he didn't race, so he won that in 2 A's. And I didn't realize that Chase had come second, so congratulations to him.
Yeah.
He got a second, a 5, and a 2. Brock, after, another great qualifying, kind of just wasn't there. He got a 4, a 6, and a 1. So that 6 really messed him up. Yeah. Tater, who should have started third, but started fourth, had a much better showing in four-wheel drive, a 5, second, and a 4th. Beating Fenn in this. So Fenn does not have a very good four-wheel drive weekend at all. So Dustin Evans in 5th, Tessman 6th, Dakota Fenn 7th, Rennekonek 8th, Cavallari 9th, and Lee Setzer for Associated getting in there in the last 10th. Yeah. And just kind of I guess the biggest disappointment would be Fenn not doing well in four-wheel drive.
Yeah, like his stuff looked good in practice, and then it just didn't seem like it translated well out in racing.
Mm-hmm. And Rivkin was definitely the toast of the town in four-wheel drive. He looked good. His car looked good. And then I guess his biggest competition at that point would have been Brock, who just kind of fell off, I would say, or just made mistakes. Yeah. He just made a lot of mistakes. Good second place for Chase Lemieux. Not what Brock wanted, and I would say a good 4 for Tater. A very good 4 for Tater. Tessman probably not too happy with 6. Tessman and 10 scale has been struggling. And the X-ray four-wheel drive is supposed to be good.
He shows up, and then it just goes downhill for some reason. I don't know why. He took Tom out in A2 of two-wheel pretty bad.
He did? Was Tom upset about that?
Yeah. But, of course, it wasn't Ty's fault.
But not when your dad's the team manager, Probably not too happy about being beat, not being number one, and having Chase being up there, I would say. And
Chase was the guy, for sure.
The second time, Worlds warm-up, saw this happen. Who do you think is going to be the number one out of the North American X-ray guys at the Worlds?
Lemieux.
I would, you know what?
Tom's my boy, but Chase has been pretty dialed.
I think so too. I think we're going to see the 10 scale wheels continue for Ty. The only thing that I would say Ty has going into this is experience. I think we're going to see Bruno do well. I think Chase Lemieux is going to be, man, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if Chase Lemieux is the top X-ray guy, period, at the Worlds.
Yeah, because he was a top X-ray guy at the race.
Yes. So we shall see. It's going to be interesting. And then, okay, since you did well in this, we'll talk about it.
I got 2 6s and a 10, I think, or a 9.
Modified stadium truck. Fenn dominated this. A1, A2. Dustin Evans, a 5, a 3, and a 1. Chase Lemieux, also looking good. 2nd, 9th, and a 2nd. Rivkin, 4, 2, 5. Tessman, 5th. Cavallari, 6th. Brock, as you said, his car broke every time, but still starting to back. You got an 8, a 6, and a 6. Not bad for not running stadium truck for a very long time.
Yeah.
So good stuff. making 2 finals. Good weekend, solid weekend for you. Probably not the 2 finals that you wanted to make. Obviously, 2-wheel drive. 4-wheel drive would have been, your class
I
that you wanted
definitely
to
would have
make.
traded my truck main for the 4-wheel main.
Yeah, I'm sure most would. I'm sure that Dakota Fan would have wanted the same thing because his 4-wheel drive was not very good. And all right, so let's move into our favorite Pink Pinions for life stock or spec mod, as we're calling it. We'll start with 4-wheel drive because that's where we did have some drama with this after the fact because we had Nate Sutherland who was fucking flying. Actually, now looking at it,
It was styled.
He went A1, he went 2, and then he had 2 firsts after that, and then followed by Talon Henley, Taylor Patinot, Zach Gastelum, Mason Templin, Chase, and then Levi, Raymond, and Tyler Hooks and Kyle. Once again, we see the Losi not doing well here. And I didn't realize that.
So Losi swept the podium in 4-wheel.
Oh, that's right. Nathan runs Losi. Sorry. And Talon Henley and Tyler Patinot. So I will back. I didn't know what they ran, but the top guys in that class, like Kyle Go in 9th. What happened to Doug? Ugh, how could you go from 2-wheel drive winning that to not doing so well?
I marshaled the mains and everything looked fine. He just crashed, I guess.
He just blew out.
I'm like, one of the twins showed up in A3 of 4-wheel. He qualified 10th. He got a 2 the last race.
Let's see. He did do that. Which one was that? Oh,
that was a Levi.
Person. So yeah, Levi. Oh, wrong person. What happened to my results here? Hold on. So, hold on. 13.5. Levi. Yeah, he had a 2 in A3. Well done to Nate Sutherland and Tyler Henley and Tyler Patinot. So the controversy with Nate was there was a picture of his car under the hood, and he had 2 fans running.
So the rule with that is that you can have 2 fans on your car, but you can't have it on the speed control.
Oh, so that's the rule.
You can put 2 fans wherever you would like.
Oh, so where did he have his fans?
He had his fan on, so you can have it on the speed control and motor, or you can have 2 on the motor and not on the speed control, I guess.
Okay, so he really didn't do anything wrong then. So what was all that kerfuffle for? Somebody on the internet.
Because people are stupid.
People on the internet found it. I mean, what are you going to do? So anyway, if his car passed tech. Okay, so I wasn't even too clear in the rules. So you can't have, according to the rules, you can have 2 fans, but they cannot be on the 2 fans on the ESC. So you can have 2 fans on the motor, or you can have 1 fan on the ESC and 1 fan on the motor. So he actually broke no fucking rules.
No, he broke no rules.
So why the fuck is everybody getting so upset about it?
Everyone on the internet, that's all like, oh, he broke the rules, he broke the rules.
Well, see what happens. I know what's going on. So people were trying to find something and get Raw to change because of the decision that they made in 2-wheel drive, 17.5.
It's just stupid. Like Nate and his family work really hard for just people to try to, discard his hard-earned win over something stupid like a fucking fan.
Does a fan make that much difference? It still has to drive.
It can. It could be he said his stuff wasn't getting that hot, and he didn't even really need 2 fans. He just had it on there, and they never said anything about it, so he was like, whatever.
So he did not break any rules. Let's just get that clear. Okay. All right. So congratulations, Nate Sutherland. You won it. It seems like the internet and everybody wants to turn on these young drivers when they do something good. If tech let it pass, and if it wasn't supposed to be on there due to tech, they still let it pass.
Something. They would have said something. Tech the first day for motors was kind of a mess.
Okay. But I'll go into it. You can go into it if you want.
Usually at Aurora Nationals, you take the whole motor apart. That means the rotor is out of it, the sensor board is off, and the stator is just checked for the resistance of it with nothing in it. Having the rotor in there affects the stator resistance to a point. So what these guys did this weekend is, I'm not shaming them. I'm just saying it's Aurora Nationals.
Go ahead. Give them the grief they need to get better.
People could have cheated by this weekend if they really wanted to.
Okay.
So they just took the stators and put the clips to them and checked it and said that you were good. We're at Aurora Nationals.
It needs to be more than that, you're saying.
Let's get a little more serious than that, because everyone could have cheated. Now, I'm not saying, people cheated, but they could have if they wanted to.
They could have got away with it. That's what you're trying to say. Okay. Maybe they need to contact you and figure out how to fix that, I would say.
I thought it was dumb that they didn't check everything. Like, I'm sure they checked the rotor part number and stuff, but to do the tech correctly, you have to have the rotor out of the stator. That's how ROARD has checked it in the years. That's how they did it when I ran stock. They made us take the motor all apart and then put it back together. I didn't see any of that.
What?
Weekend.
Okay. So what tires were they running in four-wheel drive? Because they had to have a spec tire, right?
So stock truck, or the 13.5 like short course class, the two-wheel drive stock and 13.5 4-wheel all ran S3 bald eagles.
And is there a rule on
there was
the
no
other thing?
spots.
Okay, but the other thing was people using diesel fuel. That's another thing we heard. People using diesel fuel. That was another thing that was brought up.
According to the ROAR rules, diesel fuel is not allowed. So whoever use that if you want or something like that.
Yeah, but how do you tech that?
You can smell it. It's pretty lethal.
So why, if people thought that people were using this, why wasn't it protested? They said that they went up to tech and said that it was being used, but protest it. That's what the protest rule is there for.
Yeah. There was that, and then there was no spec sauce, and then there was no. So people were allowed to run other foams. I think if you're running stock, it's spec tire, spec foam, spec sauce.
Should they just have pre-glutes?
It's a lot of work, but yeah.
It would eliminate, but then people be like, "What if my tires come unglued?"
Yeah.
Interesting.
You could have the manufacturer do it. I'm sure the manufacturers have the power to do pre-glued tires.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Come from the manufacturer pre-glued. Then I guess people will be like, "Well, we can't pick the proper firms, or they want to go through the best firms they can find and all that type of stuff."
But people were using other foams in the tires, and then the Raymond twins found that out late. So it was kind of a mess. You were playing the tire game that you would play at another big event when it should have just been spec and easy for
it should have. Event. It should have had spec firms. I agree with you. And it should have probably had a spec sauce. And your tires should have been impounded.
Yep, for sure.
So for two-wheel drive, everybody had the bald eagles. How was that? Were they good on the track at all? Or
if you had the right foams and you had the right sauce, they were good.
So I agree. You know what? I agree with you. Should have had spec sauce, spec firms, and tires should have been impounded. You should have had to go sauce at a table that was covered. That was invest. Like, you know what I mean? You should have had the sauce at the table. Let your tires grow. Yeah, definitely. If you're gonna have spec tires, have all the other stuff spec. I would assume. I would agree with that. But congratulations to Nate. He wins that, and Talon, Patinot, Gastelum, Templeman. Good stuff to them. And then, of course, we're going to move on to which caused all the controversy this past weekend. So I remember messaging you because I heard there's some controversy going on. And I'm like, what's going on? And it's like, they took the title from Kyle. And I'm just like, what? Because honestly, I thought he had won. Now, we did go over this last night on the podcast. At first,
but
I want your opinion because you was there. You was there. You're a racer.
First, and I didn't. I was like, I was told Doug protested.
But I heard he didn't. I heard he just asked.
And after talking to Doug and a couple other people, because at first I was like, oh, fucking Doug, here we go again. But after talking and hearing from a couple people, including him, he did not protest. He just went up there and clarified the rules and asked them what was going on. He got clarification, and that clarification ended up getting him the win. By the rules, Doug won.
So we're going to go into these questions. In the meeting, they said that we are running raw rules. This is a raw race. I understand that a mistake was made with not clicking that button in the scoring to run raw qualifying. Now, qualifying and the mains are separate, right? So, I will say this. I know a lot of people said that Kai Goff missed the mains, but he didn't. People checked everything. I've had various RDs check it. They said, no, he didn't miss it. Clayton himself went through it. Yes, Raw fucked up. They should have just clicked that button.
They messed up.
They did, but it did not. In this case, it didn't
affect anybody's qualifying.
Exactly.
So for the main,
for this main
position,
right? Not even that. So Doug, the two people that we're talking about, Doug and Kyle, still would have started in the same positions that they're at. I thought Kyle had won. I think where Raw fucked up again was not saying unofficial results.
Yes,
this is why.
The year I won, they said after I crossed the line, they're like, Matthew Gonzalez is your unofficial Raw national champion. Mm-hmm. Then they took my shit apart, deemed me a champion. The end.
Well, that's how it's supposed to be. So they did bubble. They did mess up by jumping the gun, declaring Kyle the champion. So then after, and you know what? Doug had every right to ask about this because, so for those of people out there, it doesn't look, people's going to say, oh, it started on IFMAR and it should have finished on IFMAR. It is a Raw race. I agree with Barry 100%. I don't care how everybody's emotional, everybody's passionate, everybody wanted Kyle to win. It seems he's obviously a more popular racer. But at the end of the day, excuse me?
What's shitty is people were shitting on Doug for it. Like, Doug was getting really fucked up messages, and
because
like,
people
one of the guys told Doug at the race was like, if you wanted the trophy so bad, then you can fucking have it. I'm not gonna say who said it, but
I heard there was a lot. I heard there was I heard Clayton was surrounded. I heard people up in his face, all this type of stuff. You know what, man? That type of stuff should not be happening.
That's the reason why people don't want to race is because you just get shit on. For
you know what? Doug did nothing wrong.
Yeah,
absolutely. And he messaged me, and he said, "Thank you for being neutral." I said, "You did nothing wrong. You won. You know." I even heard that maybe even they were thinking about maybe there was a suggestion of it being a co-champion. No, he won. Yeah. And then I heard that they said that Kyle slowed down. No, you did not slow down. You did not slow down. It doesn't. He still had to go fast, right, to win. I think the behavior after the fact is worse than anything. There should be nobody surrounding officials. There should be nobody up in the driver's face or whatnot like that. Because at the end of the day, that looks bad, right? The decision is decision. The right decision is the hardest decision to make. They fucked up. That you people, he was announced the winner, yes, by error, but when you did the math, it didn't work out. I feel bad for Kyle because he went on a very emotional roller coaster.
It's a shitty situation for everybody, but the way it was handled towards Doug's part sucks.
Of course it does. He did the right thing. He asked. He won by Raw rules. He is your champion, and it was by, I don't know, like 0.2 of a second or whatever. I can't remember the exact calculation. But if the shoe would have been on the other foot, the same people that were all up in the officials' faces and the same people on the internet that are crying and all that type of stuff, they would be rejoicing right now and saying, well done, Raw, you did the right thing and all that type of stuff. I think the best attitude people, like the guy who should be the most upset at this should be Kyle, though. Right? And you know what Kyle said to me? And I sent him a message. I said, hey, man, keep your head up. I know you wanted this. You have a bright future ahead of you. Because I like Kyle. I met him at Masters of Dirt. I like Doug. I like all these guys, right? And he goes, you know what? I will have to win it in 2. I will have to win 2 A-mains next year. And I said, you got that right. Because it's like boxing. You do not leave it in the hand of the judges. You knock them people out. Yeah. Doug did absolutely nothing wrong. So there's people who are messaging Doug and whatever, like, just fuck off. Like, I'm going to tell you, just fuck off. He won. He did nothing wrong. He went up there. He won. He asked the question. And when the issue was that people, if Raw would have said, hey, we're going to use IFMAR rules, then okay, Kyle won. They have a point. But it's a Raw race. Raw fucked up by not putting that button. People knew it was like that the entire. Why didn't anybody go up and say, "Hey, we're running IFMAR qualifying. We need to fix it"? I don't know if that happened, but they should have. They should have pointed it out to Raw, all this type of stuff. And at the end of the day, I don't care how emotional people are. The right decision was made, and Doug did absolutely nothing wrong besides doing the math. So to get on that young man about him doing that is fucked up, and I don't like my boy Danny was telling me. He was like, Keenan, you should have seen it. Like it was like 30 people surrounding Clayton, and they were all arguing.
It was like we went to dinner, and we sat there and we're like, like Doug's like sitting there all bummed out. Like he's like,
he shouldn't be bummed out. He should be happy.
Like all these guys are messaging me. I'm like, if I could show you the messages that he was getting,
I'm not surprised, because if I saw the attitude from people on the internet,
I'm right? It just sucks because he does work really hard. Like I give Doug shit all the time, but at the end of the day, like we're all buddies. We all see each other again, right? And Doug won. That's it. Man,
I'm actually kind of disgusted with the behavior. And
no, if you could see the messages that some of these I
heard about all the aggression at the race, and I think
like regarded very highly in this industry, and then all the Facebook stuff and then everything. Like some of the guys that sent Doug shit, it's pretty astonishing to see that people still.
Oh, emotions. No, he didn't steal anything. No, he didn't rob Kyle of his of a championship. He won that shit. According to the rules, he won it. If you want to, I posted the rules. I'm not. If it would have been on the other foot and it would have been Kyle, I would feel the same way. I feel so bad for Kyle because I'm pretty sure he's upset about it, but he is the most level-headed out of all this young man. And you know what? I said this on the live last night. I said all these grown men can learn a lot from these two young men.
Yeah. Like Kyle didn't post, "Oh yeah, I should have won. I should have done this." He got second. It's a bummer.
I'm sure he was emotionally drained. I'm sure if he wasn't, I would be in tears too. But you know what? These fucking grown ass men, guys my age, can learn a lot from these young men who handled this in a very professional manner and handled it in a professional way. And I think if we're gonna have, and you know what? I know that people are used to bullying Raw into decisions and different things like that. And I get that emotions are at play and there's lots of things on stake here. But I think there has to be some respect and some rules, like rugby, dude. Rugby is one of the most violent games in the world. But let me tell you something. I learned when I was playing that sport, when I was playing it in high school, you know what, my teacher, he was from England. He was a hardcore rugby guy. He says, you know what the number one rule in rugby is? You do not look or even mutter one thing bad to the referee. He says, you will get banned. You will get kicked out of the game. You could get a fucking year ban, whatever, if you say anything wrong to that referee. You know what? At the end of the day, the Raw officials were the officials at this race. Yes, they made a mistake. I don't care how much banter on the internet, how much you want to get in somebody's face at the event, how much you feel that this person won. At the end of the day, it did not make the qualifying did not make a difference where these guys started on the thing. The difference, and I don't buy that stuff about he slid on. No, you don't. He had to win that main. He had to have his best time possible to win it, right? Even with IFMAR, because IFMAR would have took you two combined times. Yeah, Raw takes you one time. He still had to have a fast time.
Yeah,
and you don't slow down. You never slowed on. Not unless you won A1. If you won A1 and you won A2, then you slowed on. Yeah, but now when it comes down to this. So I think that I get that people were emotional. I get that people were upset. But all these people that are talking shit to Doug and all that type of stuff, these are young men who handled this better than the grown ass men that were there. And they should be ashamed of themselves. And I guess, and you know, some of these people are my friends. Right? And I don't want to talk bad about them. I get that they were emotional at the time, but all these people who are messaging Doug and all this stuff on the internet and all that stuff, like, fuck off. Let this young man, because he is what, 21, 22? 20. Kyle's around the same age. Kyle's younger, I think.
No,
he's Kyle's a young.
No, Kyle's older. Yeah.
So these are young men in our industry that are going to be the future of our industry in the coming years.
Yeah.
Hopefully they go up and they go up to mod and they do race and they're going to be racing nitro and all this type of stuff. These guys handled it professionally, and everybody around them did not. Well, I'm mostly talking about the people that thought that Kyle should have won. Look, he didn't win. He would have won if this would have been an IFMAR Worlds. It was Raw. Are you sending me a private message?
I did. It's getting really hot in this shed, and I need to get.
I see you getting uncomfortable. We're done. Yeah. We're done.
I need to get some water.
He needs to get some water.
Yeah.
That was my rant on that. I congratulate Doug for winning. I congratulate Kyle for handling it like a man.
Kyle handled it well. Doug handled it well. Like Doug, I don't think Doug's made a Facebook post yet because he's worried about what. I'm like, dude, fuck him. You won.
He won. He won.
Like, we were sitting at dinner, and I'm like, dude, you won. The end.
He won.
That's it. No more.
He won. And guess what? Kyle, just dust it off, get back on that horse, and win it in 2 next year, good buddy. Yeah. And keep on running nitro. I feel for you. I do. I feel for you. I like you a lot. And as for the people that got emotional, I understand why you got emotional. But come on. We can't be doing
people
that.
Like representing high companies and stuff like that, and just being.
You're not gonna bully, I give Raw the props. He didn't fall under
because Jeff Parker was still in Raw, he would have been like, all right, we ran the event just like this. The end. Exactly.
That was the big travesty would have been just letting it slide, in my opinion. So, and people's probably gonna say, Lefty, you're just swinging off Raw's nuts or something like. Nope. They fucked up. They fucked up in 2 things. But we can't be doing this type of stuff. Like, imagine if there would have been spectators there and they would have saw all of that shit. Like, they'd be like, I'm not getting involved with these nerds. Like, look at this guy freaking out over this shit. But yeah, congratulations, Doug Lavere. Congratulations to Kyle. Congratulations to Nate. All the winners, all the podium finishers.
Yep.
To the Columbus, the people there at Hobbyton, Sean Harding, and all the local racers that there. It was good to see. Beautiful track. Congratulations to you for making the mains. Good luck at the Worlds. Have fun. Go get some tacos. Shout out to all your sponsors. And I'll be talking to you after the Worlds, man. Yeah. We will. We ran a little bit long today, but all good. Thank you for the questions. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to all the NNRC squad around the world. We greatly appreciate you guys' support. Can't do it without you guys. If anybody needs any information from Matty, just hit him up. Miklos, I'm gonna link you with Matty G so you can get in contact with him. He just wants to be on a good foot going into
I'm like, I honestly, I'm not really sharing a lot of the setup stuff, but if you guys need help with tires and stuff like that, I'm like, I want to do good. So
yeah. Miklos is, I think he's coming for the experience. He just doesn't want to be, he wants to be on a good. Yeah. He doesn't want to be shit right off the bat. He says, I don't want to be shit right off the bat. I just want to come out there and know what to expect.
Okay.
Thank you, Matty, for your time. Thank you to all the NNRC patrons. Thank you to all the YouTube members. Thank you to these companies for supporting us. They are Invisible Speed, High Tech RC, Sumpadal, Mayako, Hot Race Tires, Sidewinder, Beach RC, Clinic RC, Techno RC, Stacked RC, Ignite Design RC, RaceCraft, shout out to House of RC, Florida RC Champions, WRCE. Thank you to our drivers, Jared Tebow, David Ronnefeld, Robert Batty, Alexander Hagberg, and our new United driver, Sir Spleenless of Mexico, Matty G.
Did you hear my truck interview?
I did not hear your truck.
Before we go, you got to play my truck interview.
I thought you had to go eat. So what would these be?
I do, but this is pretty good, and you'll be really proud.
Which interview was it?
A2 of the driver intros and truck.
Driver intro, does it have it on there? Did it show?
Mm-hmm. You can hear.
We got to do driver intros. I can't find. I only have the.
I got it.
Can you share it from there?
No, but I can tell you the time that it's at.
Okay, let's see. Did they do driver intros for 8-2? Well, I mean, they didn't record them. I don't think
they did it for truck. Let me find.
Let's see. A2. I mean, I'm just wondering if it's Shizer. Where is it? Why can I not find this?
It is at the
A2 stadium truck.
If it would load on here, that would be nice.
Let's see. Will they play it? Is it? No, they have it from the starting line, so I have to find it on.
So it's at the 158 or it's at the 148 mark, I believe.
Yeah, but from what I do, a lot of my stuff is right off Live RC, and you pay $5.
Okay.
When you pay $5, you get all those things right there for you.
My God,
so
the YouTube one.
So YouTube, electric. Which one are we talking about? Finals day.
Yep.
And it started at the 1 hour and
48 would be the place to start.
Okay.
If not, you might have.
Oh, you got an actual interview. Okay.
No, not interview. Just driver like intro.
Oh no, this is 1 hour and 48. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Okay, let's see. We'll put it up here in a second. Did you say thank you to the No Name RC podcast? If you did, I would really appreciate that. But you didn't. Nobody ever says thank you to the No Name RC podcast. I'm like the redheaded stepchild. We don't talk about you in sponsor announcements. Too controversial. Too controversial. Let's see. Did you say shout out to Mexico?
You'll see where I'm from.
Let's see. Let's put it up here. Bear with me, guys. Sorry, just trying to find this as we go in. I believe this is it.
Hannah and the entire AE crew for all the
Can you hear that?
And support from Winchester, Virginia, Lee Setzer.
Casa Boone Lee.
Qualifying in the 8th spot, driving a TLR.
No, this
sponsored by
isn't you.
TLR, Phantom.
Nope, there's one more.
Ryzen Hobbies, RC1, Team Brood, Bradley Fine Designs,
We'll just let it play.
MKM Graphics and Design, Limitless RC, AHRC. Special thanks to the entire TLR team and everything this weekend. Thanks to Shady for setting my car down. From Grand Bluff, Michigan, Tater Sontag.
It sounds like a lot of people there.
Spot, driving a Team Associated, sponsored by One Up Racing, Team Associated, Jake Concepts, Factory Team, TDK, MFR, Team Glitch, SDRC Raceway. Special thanks to Randolph for making these trips happen. Chris Raymond for you, for your tire sanding skills, and Jim Hughes for all the funding. From Tijuana, Mexico, Matthew Gonzalez.
Oh my gosh! Never been Tijuana in your life. Oh my gosh! At least you're embracing your Mexican heritage. I love it. I love it. Tijuana. Gotta go to. I want to go to Tijuana myself.
I had Clayton ask. He's like, that's not part of the federation, right? I'm like, no.
We're gonna get you. I'm gonna have a little Mexican flag, and we're gonna wave it every time you come on her. Every time. Hey man, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And go get some food, go get some air conditioning, and good luck at the Worlds. Good luck at the Worlds. With that said, Lefty and the Spleenless, Sir Spleenless, we're out as soon as I find my damn outro. There we go. See you guys later. Bye bye.